What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Purpose for Forever. I appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us, and hanging with us each and every Monday at 8 p.m. And if you're catching us on replay, we appreciate you for being here as well. Today, we are accepting of who your spouse is. We're talking about accepting of who your spouse is. Did I say that? I don't think I said that good or right, but
probably acceptance
yeah,
of who
I
your
changed it.
spouse
Then
is.
I realized. So we're gonna do a rewind once we do the intro, and I'll fix that. Acceptance of who your spouse is. It's like it is in the title. All right.
I accept him for his bad spelling.
Good. All right. So we appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. I'm sharing at this very moment. Share. So make sure you do so. And be a part and get other people a part of this conversation. Do you find it challenging to accept who your spouse is, where they're going, like the purpose and all? We're gonna get into all of that and how we manage our relationships. All right. All right then. For real though. Word up. Word up. All right. Let's go.
Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose.
Welcome back.
Hey, guys. Yeah,
Oh,
we were in mid conversation.
Yes.
So, of course, we are Anthony and Samantha Walker, and the topic is supposed to be acceptance, I guess, of who your spouse is,
Right there.
and kind of what that looks like.
Yes, indeed.
In everyday life and everyday relationship.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to talk about. And Anthony's going to jumpstart this combo.
Boom. All right, so let's get it. So, like I said, today we're talking about acceptance of who your spouse is.
Right.
We kind of got into this conversation. We've always kind of touched on this in many different ways and realms and people dealt with. So when you are, like, I guess when you're starting out getting into a relationship, you're learning who you're connecting with or going out or just dating. And as the relationship forms, you fall in love with certain things, you like who they are and things of that nature. I guess, we get into the acceptance of who your spouse is, once like the puppy love is gone, once we get serious about a relationship, once we get into the journey of just living, and even getting to the point of marriage, or even maybe before then, you begin to learn who you're with. Right? What's that face?
What? I'm listening to you.
What's that face? You're making faces, guys.
My face don't have nothing to do with you. Talk.
So we are. So as you're making that journey in your marriage, and you're realizing, certain things about your mate that either may bother you or that you have maybe concern or it's understanding who you're with. I think in the beginning it's just more or less understanding who they are and not like the real rude things or the stuff that's like either abusive to that extent, but just like the little quirky things or even how they manage certain things or how they deal with certain issues, and with us, like a lot of times it may be like process, like I do one thing one way, she does things another way.
Yes.
and it's not that certain things are wrong, it's just the way things get done.
Yeah.
Right. So it's about accepting who your spouse is, right? So that's the one level we're going to get on that, as well as who your spouse is becoming. What is it that your spouse likes to get into? What's their vision? How do they see their lives and the skill sets they want to use to do whatever, either make money, be a hobby, whatever it may be.
Except for a 40-year-old rapper. Like, you can't be still trying to have a rap career.
Come on.
And you pass like
Don't do that.
35 and you
Don't do
just
that.
starting out.
Come on,
If
son.
you trying to be a rapper this late in the game,
Oh,
I cannot accept that.
I got bars though. I got bars. I've taken my 94 bars.
See,
and
that's the
brought them
problem.
up to
The 90s, no.
2021 bars. I just mixed them up, remixed them with my adult status bars.
I'm sorry. I think as a wife, there's certain things I just don't have to accept. I don't care.
We can have the men's hip hop club or something like this. We just cipher and drop some freestyles or something like it. Just we ain't trying to be.
There has to be a limit on some things.
It has to be a
Like
limit.
yes, realistically.
I mean, we
speaking,
can. We can have car clubs, right?
What does that have to do with that? One thing has nothing to do with the other. Don't be like that.
Okay.
Don't do that.
All right.
Don't be difficult.
I mean, I get it. I guess.
Okay, get back to the
Yeah.
point.
So getting to who's that? Who's in the building? What's up, Keita?
Hey, Keita.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. So accepting of who your spouse is, like where they're going, what they're becoming, and not trying to drive their direction.
Well, why can't I? Why can't, like, is that wrong though? Like, okay, so let's just say, right, that your big goal is to, I don't know, you want to get a job with, what's a big company? With like CNN.
Okay.
You just want to work for CNN.
Right.
You don't really want to.
spot open up.
No, you don't want to do that. You want to do.
Right. If the balls are fire. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, Sean.
Like, I'm just saying, if you just want to work for the company,
right.
Like, what's wrong with me as a spouse being like, babe, don't just be satisfied, I don't know, doing 15 minutes on Sunday. Let's try for the prime time spot. What's wrong with me pushing you?
That's fine. But like us, for instance,
Okay.
right? There's certain we discussed like she's amazing at cooking, amazing at doing certain things, and I was suggesting a certain direction, but she didn't want to do it. That she explained it, and I understood it because I was like, I get it, going a certain way as far as like
It's not the same.
started.
That's not the same as just wanting to do a little box as opposed to having the whole pie. That's not the same.
No, I mean, no, I get what you're saying to me about don't go for the small spot, go for the big spot.
Right. So
what I'm saying is what I was in context was speaking just of, taking your dream and running it further a different direction that you didn't see in your mind.
Right. But maybe you just didn't see that. That doesn't make it wrong. Like, does it make it wrong? Like when you get married, your spouse, typically, it works out. Maybe you see things that I don't see.
Right.
So maybe I see, a lot more greatness than you see for yourself. And you find being mediocre Melvin sitting on the couch scratching all the time.
Mediocre Melvis.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, true. But you've even said it like, me having to make sure or having to see what you're trying to become, what your focus or your direction, and I know we talk about being uncomfortable and being in spaces that, you feel like you're not ready for, but I see you have the potential to do this thing and take it to another level. No, that's good.
I'm just saying,
right.
Like, okay, so the whole acceptance of your spouse,
right?
Like when I think about it, or when we talked about this, I kind of thought in terms of, you have social media, you have all these things,
right.
And sometimes you see stuff,
okay,
other places, and now you want to come home and turn your husband
right into that,
into the Instagram model.
Right.
Or now you want him to become a rapper, or now he's not aggressive enough. I mean, in that sense, just accepting people for who they are. But I think when it comes to purpose and the direction that you're traveling. And like, if I'm pushing you harder than you would like, I
Right.
mean, that's not really about me not accepting you. That's about me wanting to see you go further, or realistically, the better you do, the better it is for me.
Right.
You make more money, more shopping for me.
Right.
But if we hanging out with Sean and then I'm like, oh, babe, oh, look, Sean got that color. You need to go get that color.
Right.
And then every time you see him in something, I'm like, oh, babe, you need to get that because Sean got that.
Right.
Like,
Right.
that's a little different.
Right. I got what you're saying. So you're saying like the like accepting of who your spouse, because I get it, because there was a time, right?
Oh,
I'm taking it back. So, if you've ever had the opportunity to know my amazing wife, she's like really straightforward with a lot of
see, I said,
what she
there we go. Go
what
ahead.
she does, right? And no, and in a lot of spaces, I wanted her to be a part of certain groups or be part of certain
She
things.
wanted me to be a sucker.
I wanted to conform.
He wanted me to bite my tongue.
Right. I wanted to bite her tongue and conform. Yeah.
Curtsy,
See,
and
I ain't say all that.
and do
He said, I agree, Sam. Encouragement,
right.
support, and purpose of career is different from acceptance of who they are. Right.
Right. He wanted me to look like, the picture of, and not necessarily physically, but like he wanted me to be like the other women, whoever they were at the time.
Yeah.
And
it never was. But
it was a struggle because it got to the point where I hated going somewhere with him, because either I'm gonna sit and I'm not gonna talk, or I say something and he like acting like the world is over, or we have to argue.
Not fake.
That
not
too.
Fake.
Because you wanted me to pretend.
Not fake. No, not fake.
You did want me to pretend.
I need you just to transform.
Do I look like a transformer? This don't transform. I mean, and for a long time, for a while, we didn't really go places together like that. Like we had separate lives. Like I had people that I was around and he had people that he was around, because I mean, sometimes I can be a little sharp around the edges, and I'm trying to round them out, right, Dr. Rollins? I'm doing better. But that's just like a part of my personal growth. Right. That's not him trying to turn me into like a Stepford wife. Right. So we've had those experiences.
But what I experienced was like when we get around groups and this conversation happening and she busts in with the hatchet on it, and I'm like, and then someone like, "You're right, Samantha." Right. I was like, "You're right, Samantha."
See, that's what I'm saying. Yes, I am. So see, basically what he's saying is he found out I was dope, just like I am.
All right. Anyway, no. She is. She's amazing. She's awesome. But, what I had to appreciate is the fact that she wasn't cookie cutter, like she was unique in what she did. And as we've grown closer together and being honest about who we are and pursuing more of what God has given us, we've moved, levels up, and, her skill set has gotten even better. So, just being her. And I'm thankful that she never listened to me.
And not just that, but like we went to high school together.
Right.
So like the girl he started dating
right.
was the Roosevelt chick. Like,
that too.
That's who I was.
Right.
So, even as time progressed, like, at heart, I'm still that New York girl.
Right.
Like being somewhere else kind of doesn't change that. And I guess I've grown and I'm mature, but for the most part, I tried to stay true to myself. And like I said, it was a process for him to accept that, because like, I'm not gonna lie, there were times where I tried to I don't know, like I've tried to not so much fit in, but kind of get through the night.
Right.
So there have been times that I've done that, and he, be smiling and he happy. But then like the next few days, I'm upset with him because it's like, you don't even see who I am. Right. And I think that's the biggest part with accepting who your spouse is the ability to see who they are.
Right.
Of course, there's always areas where we can improve
Definitely.
upon. There's always areas that we can grow in,
Right.
because we're people and we age and we learn, and experiences and things change. But the biggest part is being able to see your spouse.
Yeah.
And that means see their flaws, because we all, well, now, can't help it. No, we all have them. Like we all have
Right.
our flaws,
Right.
our quirks.
Right.
But when you get married, you accepted me,
Right.
the New York girl, that'll roll her eyes,
Right.
all of that. Like, that's a part of the package.
Right.
And I think sometimes, when we marry people, I don't think we've thoroughly looked in the package. Like, you ever got a gift from somebody, like a bag?
Right.
It's always those bags. And you pull out like two things, and they be like, it's something else in there.
Right.
And then you digging. They're like, it's something. And you can be digging and digging to find all the stuff that's in the bag that somebody's giving you. It's the same thing, when you're dating or when you get married. You have this person and they're almost like a gift bag, because
Right.
they're all yours. And there's so much inside that person, that you can potentially pull out,
right.
Bring to the forefront. But it's up to you to kind of keep digging.
Yeah.
And sometimes you pull out something and be like, I don't really like that. But I guess you gave it to me, so it's mine. I don't really like it. And that happens, even with our spouses. There are some times, when some of his personalities, I'd be like, okay, so I'm going to stay in the room today. And it's normal, because we are human. Sometimes we have those moments, and it's okay. But overall, like, you have to accept somebody as they are. For your marriage, like, you want your marriage to be solid.
Yeah.
And solid does not mean impenetrable or, kryptonite resistant, all that stuff. Like, because we're all human and we all have weaknesses and things happen.
Yeah.
But you want to try to build something solid.
Definitely.
And it comes from knowing who you're building with.
Right. You gotta have those conversations. You gotta, kind of talk it out, kind of see where you're at, have the are you doing what you want to be doing kind of conversations. Is there anything that you have, I believe you gotta have those dream talks. Like, if, you at least start off with if money wasn't the problem, what would you want to be doing right now?
Throwing my questions out there, trying to act like that's what you be asking
all the time. I come with my original. All right. But yeah, so but you start there. And you never know what your significant other might bust out. Like, I've always, wanted to go skiing or something, like, just something that interests them or they've done before that you just haven't picked up in years. They probably put it on the shelf and say, you know what, when I get myself a little together, I'm coming back for that and I'm gonna work on that. But, life happens, family happens, things happen, bills and life, and you stop doing it. So it's like, when are you going to pick it back up? When are you going to start working on those things that God has placed in you? And it's not about making money. It's about your purpose and the impact and all that great stuff.
It shouldn't be solely
about making money. But it's having those conversations to understand, because what happens, I think, we live so unfulfilled. You're not doing stuff that, that you desire, that you dream about, that you think about. You wake up and you're like, man, right, sitting on the side of it, like,
gotta pay the bills.
Man, I want to go there.
Gotta feed the kids.
I'd rather be doing, such and such, and having that conversation, because sometimes even just talking about it, can at least spark, bring the sparkle back in your eye. And when you're doing things that are purposeful, I feel like it helps your relationship,
you're happier.
Right.
If you're happier with yourself, it's easier to be happy with somebody else. But if you feel miserable and unfulfilled within yourself, it doesn't matter what I do. Like, I can become Jumper Jack Flash. It's not going to have no real lasting impact on our relationship because he's unhappy and he's unfulfilled. It's a recipe for disaster. Also, like, when you're dating people, you find them, be like, oh, girl, he got abs. Girl, he got all these abs. And, let's be honest, marriage is supposed to be forever. So you got to think, is what he's doing now at 25, is this still going to be cute and 45. Because, typically abs mean either he in the gym all the time,
right,
or he don't eat nothing fried, and all you gotta do is fried chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't. There's a lot that come with some of the things that we think is so cute.
right.
Oh well, girl, he don't even mess with his family. He all about me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Some things, is that gonna be cute in
Right.
20 years?
Right.
Like, because I can tell you for sure there's some things, that was cute in the beginning. Like, he worked all the time. Like, when we were dating, he was working. I mean, we both were working hard when we were like dating. We
Right.
both worked. I mean, we were getting off almost like passing the night.
Right.
Okay, love you too, go home.
Right.
And kind of that was it.
Right.
And then once we got married and things kind of started to slow down for me, it didn't really slow down for him. So he was still working, shoot, passing me, working. And I'm like, this ain't so cute no more. Like, what was so attractive and so, like, it wasn't cute anymore.
Right.
It wasn't something that, that was appealing to me anymore. Like, I want to go on vacation. He's like, oh, this is a busy week. Oh, this is a busy week too. And
Right.
every week was a busy week.
Right.
So then, you start taking vacations by yourself. Who wants to do that?
Right.
All the time? I mean, you get married, so you don't have to do these things. And then you have kids. Yeah. And now you and the kids going places by yourself.
Right.
So, I think sometimes we have to really think about some of the things that we think is so great.
Right.
Like, and really talk about what that means. Okay, you work a lot now, but what does that mean for your future? Are you working now, working hard to go towards this?
Right.
Are you working hard to build something?
Right.
Or is this you just a workaholic? That's
Right.
just your nature, because there is a difference.
Yeah.
So, before you can accept some things, sometimes you have to understand it.
Right.
And that comes from communication.
Definitely.
You need to have communication. You need to talk about it. Stuff you see and you don't like, it doesn't benefit him or our marriage if he does something and I call my sister.
Right.
Like, oh my God, he's still doing it. And she's like, girl, I don't know. That would get on my nerves. And y'all have a good old conversation, but I haven't talked to him.
Right.
I haven't told him how I feel about it. I haven't told him even how it makes me feel. And I expect something to change. Like, there has to be acceptance and communication. It kind of has to work together. You have to be vocal. I know some topics sometimes are hard, right, or in our minds, we make them harder than they are. And so we don't talk about it. We leave things, whatever. And then there's always parts of your spouse that, I can't really accept that about you because I don't know why you keep trying to pour this hot wax on my foot. Like, like weird stuff. You're like, you're not putting a hot wax on, and it may sound crazy, but it's little stuff that, if you just had a conversation, right, in his mind, he's thinking that's something exciting, a little hot wax.
He's like a little hot wax on your foot. I see.
Right, or he don't watch, what was that movie with you put hot wax on people? Or you don't watch that too many times. Wasn't it like that movie with Madonna in it? She was pouring hot. Okay, we getting off topic.
Basic Gangster? No,
that wasn't Madonna. Anyway, go ahead.
Somebody knows in the comment section. Put that up. But yeah, so definitely having the conversation about like your needs, wants, and like the things that you desire, and like you said, what's cute at one stage may not be as cute later. But he said, "Don't be a menace." Was it on "Don't Be a Menace"?
They were making fun of the actual movie. It was some movie that had Madonna in it. It was like Body of
Okay.
Proof or something.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So definitely having a conversation. But you know what it is though. So it's like you have to have the conversation in stages, right? So what we start out as in when we first get married, then 5 to 10 years later, when it begins to bother you, having the next set of conversations. And forgive me, I think my face might be doing some squiggly things because it looks like I'm having connection issues. Because having connection issues. And what may be a problem, what may be cool now, maybe 10 years from now, needs to have another conversation, because once it bothers you, once it bothers you, then you have to begin to have the conversation again. The daily talks, like, what's the goal? Like if you work a lot, what's the goal? What are you working towards? I like to work. I like to be there. How can we balance that out so you're home more? Whatever it takes. What is it that you want to get into? How can we assist you in the working process? It's just having the conversation.
Told you it was body or something.
Oh, I remember it, but I don't remember that.
Body of evidence.
Madonna.
No, I don't know if it was Madonna. It was.
I think it's Madonna. That's Madonna in that one. Yeah, there she go right there.
Yeah, see, I'm not crazy. She poured hot wax. Okay, I have a weird memory. Again, this is one of the things you have to be able to accept. The quirkiness. Like, listen, he and I, we struggle with TV time so much because he likes, I'm not going to call a name. See, this is respecting who he is. He likes very different TV than what I like. But I was just, see?
Different.
Oh, well, I'm trying here. You got to work with. And, so sometimes we struggle a lot with watching TV. Back then it was like, oh, he like documentaries. He's smart. It was cute. Oh, he knows so much. Let me ask him this. He know about this political stuff and this and that. And it was cute. But now that I'm over 40, I don't care. I know it's bad, but I don't want to watch a documentary. I don't want to watch, whatever. Now, is it a deal breaker? Nah, it's not a deal breaker. We got a lot of TVs in the house. So that works. I mean, I understand that about him. I accept him. I know that sometimes he going to want that documentary, and I'm fine watching TV in my bedroom. So, some things are small, but it's just like little one-offs, little things you do for each other to accommodate. I like certain types of food that he don't eat at all. But he'll take me to a seafood restaurant. Right. He don't eat it. He'll sit there and watch me eat it and drink stuff. And
who controls?
Who has the fight? Sean Rollins. That is the fight in our house. Now, if I'm in the bedroom first, guess who's not giving up?
Guess who we get there first?
Listen, don't be angry with me for being smart.
So yeah, we kind of
It's little stuff.
It's the little stuff, So I try to work with it.
Try to work with it, right? Because I'm a spoiled brat. That is exactly why he tried to work with me, because I will pout. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm spoiled because he has allowed me to be this way. Listen, what Pastor Brian McCory says all the time: if that's a monster, that's the monster you made, and I am for sure the monster that he made. So I will throw a fit, and he gives me my way sometimes. Mm-hmm. And listen, that is the beauty of being married. You're supposed to spoil your spouse. Right. It works both ways. Indeed. There are some times I will watch some documentaries. There was a few that was pretty interesting.
See what I'm saying?
A few.
There was some. She loved them. But
no. But it's a one-off. Like, right. The best part, like, there's some really great parts of being married. Right. There's some stuff that's like, oh, it's par for the course, the whole keeping the house, building a family. That's not really that exciting. That's like a part of living life, maturing and growing up. Right. But like the part, where you could actually interact and be friends and enjoy each other. Right. And at 45, we're still, sometimes he'll say something. I'm like, how did I not ever know that? Right. And we're over 40. So it's like you always can find something new about somebody. Yeah. You can find something that either, they didn't know how to share. They didn't get a chance to share. Something you didn't know to ask. Right. Like, there's so many great parts, of being married. Right. And the trick is to being up to the task, to discovering it. Yeah. You got to want to look. Yeah. For the treasure that might be way deep down underneath the documentaries and all that. You gotta want to look and find those things. Yes. And honestly, I would say we are enjoying the scavenger hunt. Finding out and discovering things about each other, even though we've known each other over 30 years now. And we still like 14, 15. Right. We still are, figuring it out, and it can be great. It doesn't have to be miserable. No, he's not perfect. Neither am I. I just wanted to say that part. Whatever it is first.
Just wrong.
I'm just
It's
saying,
wrong.
neither one of us is perfect.
Right.
But you know, you work through it.
Yeah.
Like, listen, we forgive each other, we move on.
Definitely.
We don't really yell at each other. We might get angry, you know, human nature,
Yeah.
get a little angry.
Yeah.
But you know, you work through it, and I've learned to accept most of his foolishness.
I think just the conversation and the quirky stuff and the movies and things you like. You find ways, find balance, enduring
It's a
certain
constant
things,
battle.
enduring certain things. Don't do that. Don't do that.
What?
But learn to endure each other's likes. You know, as far as what folks enjoy to do. Like she does the seafood. I find chicken. There's always chicken on the menu at seafood places. But I know she enjoys it. And I try to make sure we find things that she likes to eat because for the most part, for us and the kids, we generally agree on what we're gonna eat. We on one accord.
The kids mess everything up.
We on one accord with
You
eating.
ain't talking about accepting your kids. Why you can't get them back, send them away? It's a lot of work.
They can go back into school. Whew. But anyway, it's definitely having the conversations from at each stage in each period of your relationship, your marriage, because things are gonna change. Like there's certain things she enjoys. There may become points that she may not like seafood as much.
Okay, that's not happening.
She may not like pasta as much.
Not that happening.
But it could happen. It could happen. But
I can see that. The Lord didn't tell me that.
The Lord didn't tell you that.
That is not down.
But like I said, with people, we go through changes, we evolve, we go, like one thing one day, don't like it another. But we got to have those conversations. And I know we've talked about this before, but just accepting who your spouse is, from the personality, and of course you discuss the things that may bother you that they do.
They might be a little moody.
That they just need to understand. They just need to understand. But have those conversations. I think one of the keys is just not ever being afraid to have the conversation. I've been in a place where I don't want to have any kind of fight, so I don't talk about anything.
So then we fight. Like that is, in his mind, he didn't want to fight, which just led to a fight.
Right.
I mean, it just may have been more prolonged. It takes forever to get to it.
Right.
But eventually, now we're gonna fight because you thought it was good not to talk for 3 weeks to avoid the fight.
Right. So have the conversation.
Yes.
Things that
Let's
bother
talk
you,
about it.
Because sometimes you have that passive aggressive, something bother you, but you don't talk about it. And now you're mad around the house, mad at everything, mad at the kids for breathing too loud, for washing their face 20 seconds too long. And, you're just mad, at everything. So to avoid that and have the conversation so you can get to what's really bothering you, get to what's, annoying you or just throwing your day off, because some things that you may do every day, like your spouse stops doing,
Right.
And
little stuff.
And you miss it. You don't miss it, but you're like, man, I used to like when you did such and such. And you just like, maybe, your routine and your spouse's routine is just thrown off from his hours or whatever they're doing. Their routine is thrown off. That's why they don't have the time, or it's like not in their warehouse to do again, but if you're saying that you like or enjoy it, they could make more of an effort to put that back into their habit. I used to like when you did such and such. Okay, I will, find a way to remind myself to do. You want that wax on the big toe tonight?
No, you wax your own toes. I'm good.
But yeah, it is definitely key to have those conversations. Like, we're communication. Everybody always talks about communication, but being specific and just, the thing is, like, if you're in a relationship and you're good, just have a conversation from a fun perspective. Don't make it a tasking. Hey, I need to talk to you, like a tasking conversation, but just have the conversation. Like, what do you want? What do you like? What do you want to do in your life that you're not doing? Or like I said, the money thing. There's no money. Money don't matter. What would you like to be doing? just those conversations so that you can understand who you're married to.
Right.
You know, because even if it's big, hairy, audacious goal, you can get something small and do for them that that can help them. That can be you can do something for them that's in line with something that they like.
Right.
You know, even if it's not a big investment into what they're doing, it at least encourage them that you say, you know what, here's a little something to maybe get you started. If you're trying to write a book, like I need a certain computer, here's a pen and pad.
Wait, if I need a computer, that's something he would do, a pen and a pad.
I'm going to get you a nice one. I'm going to get you a nice pen.
Cheap.
Yes. Those Mont Blancs.
And I've accepted that he's cheap. He's very cheap.
Get a little stand.
And right I accept that about him.
Get you going. Oh,
listen, don't be afraid to start over. Like, you know, you can always go back to the drawing board. Forever's a long time. And sometimes you gotta, okay, listen, we just go scrap all that. Right. And let's just start from the beginning. Let's start fresh. Let me ask you, let's play 20 questions. I know y'all remember that game. Everybody at some point, or you had some version of that game. You know, play 20 questions. They got all little sorts of different stuff that you can use to inspire some conversation. You might hear something you've never heard, something that makes you understand. Right. Like, even like now it makes sense why you do that. I didn't know for years why that was getting on my nerves. And then you may understand better. Understanding, you know, it goes a long way. Right. But accepting people, you know, nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's always going to get it right. And, you know, most of all, like, everything isn't always intentional. Like, you know, I try to say this to my sisters a lot. Like, everything isn't always intentional. Like, sometimes I did it or I did whatever. I wasn't trying to do it to you. Right. This is just a bad habit that I picked up. But I try to tell them all the time. But, you know, like, sometimes it's not intentional. But if you understand your spouse, if you know who they are, who he is, it's easier to understand that. And then you won't sometimes, you know, make a mountain out of a molehill, as they say.
That's good.
I know, because I said it. As you see, tonight is a silly night for us. But we thank you guys for watching. We thank you for your time. You know, we appreciate you guys always. Like we said, this marriage, you know, this is something we living out every day. Trust me, we done been through the ringer in a lot of ways. And that's putting it mildly. Like, we've overcome a lot of things. You know, we had to break and then go back together. I mean, you know, we've done a lot of things and experienced a lot of things. And most importantly, we've learned from a lot of our dumb mistakes that we both made. And we just kept compounding the dumb. So we've learned a few things that work for us. And I can be honest, maybe it won't work for you. Maybe what we say is just an idea that pushes you to think of something else. You're like, no, that won't work for us. But maybe this will work for us. So, you know, it's not, we don't think we know everything. We know the things we've been through. We know the experiences we've had. And we know the things that we've learned.
Definitely.
And honestly, we're in a much better place than I think we've been in since we dated.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're happy to see each other. We, you know, we always loved each other, but it was just so much extra stuff in there. So, you know, we enjoy each other now on a regular basis. We communicate effectively most of the time. Sometimes my inner brat just raises up. So I could take the onus on that. But we are really in a much better place. And so we get on here week after week, hoping to share some of our stuff, some of the ways we went wrong, hoping that at the very least, you don't fall into...
So appreciate that. I think you shared core concepts that everyone can apply to improve. Appreciate you.
Yeah, like we try to make sure we want to share our journey.
Right.
Because honestly, for us, when things were bad
Right.
and when we were going through it, one, there was a lot that we didn't know to ask
Right.
people. You know, we got caught up in some of it was pride. You don't want to tell people that things are bad at home. You don't want to ask people, well, why do I look at him and I'm just
Right.
You know, you're ashamed sometimes to ask stuff. You're too prideful. Sometimes you don't know who you can trust
Right.
with those things. Those are all normal occurrences.
Right.
So we on here, you don't have to worry about it. We probably gonna talk about it at one point or another.
Right.
I'm gonna make fun of myself and him a lot.
All right.
It's just how it works. But you know, it's all in good fun. And we're hoping that, like I said, there's something that we say that at the very least, you can be like, I don't ever want to do that.
Right.
That is always our hope. But thank you guys. Like he said, we're here every Monday.
Yes.
8 p.m.
Yes, indeed. So we love you and we appreciate you guys being here as always. Love intentionally.
Love unconditionally.
And live on purpose. Peace out.
Me and you